According to an American Doomsday preacher, the ominous appearance of the blood moon passing over the Middle East this month is an obvious warning sign from the heaven. Pastor Paul Begley of the United States is convinced that the blood moon is a sign from the heaven and that the lunar eclipse of July 27 is written in the last chapter of the humanities history books. The Christian conspiracy theorist who preaches ominous biblical prophecies about the apocalypse said that the world is surprising. Pastor Begley warned that the blood moon will pass over Israel and the Middle East to fulfill biblical prophecies. In a video shared online, Pastor Begley said, "Are you serious? Are you seriously serious? The United Arab Emirates are going to be stunned? They're already stunned at what's coming. The blood moon that's going to be directly over the Middle East, directly over Jerusalem and the UAE. They are already stunned by the realization of 103 minutes of absolute blood moon over their heads." The total lunar eclipse of the July blood moon is praised by astronomers as the longest lunar eclipse of the 21st century, and it lasts for an unbelievable length of 1 hour and 43 minutes. But according to Pastor Begley, there will not be another century to follow because we are now living in the end times. The Doomsday preacher claimed that the lunar eclipse of the blood moon is a prophetic event foretold in the New Testament Acts chapter 2 verses 16 to 21, the Old Testament Joel, and the New Testament Revelation. The New Testament Acts chapter 2 verses 16 to 21, New International Version, NIV. No, this is what was spoken by the prophet Joel. "In the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. Even on my servants, both men and women. I will pour out my spirit in those days. And they will prophesy. I will show wonders in the heavens above, and signs on the earth below. Blood and fire and billows of smoke. The sun will be turned to darkness, and the moon to blood, before the coming of the great and glorious day of the Lord. And everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved." The Old Testament Joel chapter 2 verses 30 to 31, New International Version, NIV. "I will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood and fire and billows of smoke. The sun will be turned to darkness, and the moon to blood, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord." The New Testament Revelation chapter 6 verses 12 to 17, New International Version, NIV. "I watched as he opened the sixth seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair, the whole moon turned blood red, and the stars in the sky fell to earth, as figs drop from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. The heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and everyone else, both slave and free, hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. They called to the mountains and the rocks, 'Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can withstand it?'" Pastor Paul Begley said, "People are starting to understand this isn't just any blood moon. This is the blood moon of the century, and I don't think there is another century. So when you start talking about the longest blood moon of the century and it's directly over the Middle East, directly over Jerusalem, in Israel's 70th year of its rebirth as a nation, in the year Jerusalem became the capital and the eternal city of God, in the very same year we're seeing not only a super blue blood moon which told us what was going to happen with Jerusalem but now a blood moon. This blood moon is right over the Middle East, and that's what this covenant of many is being worked on. The Saudi crown prince is involved, Jared Kushner the son-in-law of the president is involved, Prince William of the Royals and the British Empire is involved, and then of course the King of Jordan, President Donald Trump, Prime Minister Netanyahu, Palestinian President Abbas, the Egyptian president, and the list goes on and on and on. Everybody is involved in this, but just the actual physical manifestation of this blood moon is going to stun the UAE. Pastor Begley also warned people to pay attention to the terrible events such as cyclones, volcanic eruptions, typhoons, heat waves, etc.